All right, you guys asked for it, so I'm gonna give it to you. Day of eating, we start with some coffee, and usually, I make them breakfast before I eat myself, and by them I mean Polly, that guy right there, and that's not yelling. You just need to match his intensity and energy. This is their breakfast. Dad always makes the best breakfast, and let's get cooking on my own, which I think will be pretty darn good today. Okay. We filming. Yeah, it's going. Okay. So this is kind of like a, I guess you'd call it the Jeff Albert's cake. Um, is it tasty? It's tasty enough. So if you are perhaps very cautious about how you waste macros, as they say, you should make this because it's all right. It's just convenient. That's the main reason we get this in to start the day. So 120 grams of this, and yeah, generally the off season I still use my scale, and mostly because I tend to overconsume food, and it's not so much the weight gain that bothers me, because obviously if you eat more, you're going to gain weight. It's just more so that I just tend to eat more than I need, which means I will eventually run out of food, which just makes it unnecessarily just a bit more expensive than it should be. So it's mostly just to make sure that, like for example, that was 2 servings of this, and it will last me, if I have it every day, there's 15 servings in there, so about a week. So just make sure, it keeps me from running out of food too quickly. That's the main reason. So, and then next we have the canned pumpkin. That's something that I'm almost out of. We will use about whatever's actually left in here, we will go with. Man, and with the pumpkin being such a vital ingredient to this thing, I really hope we have enough. Usually it's 150 grams of this thing that I put in there. We might not have enough to even get to 100. I hope so. If not, well, it's just a first world problem, as they say. I don't think I'm going to make it. 70 grams, so about half of what I would usually use. Ooh, never mind. Found another one in there, so sometimes I throw this in the dog food. Dogs absolutely love it helps them go, if you know what I mean. So we will borrow some from the dog's stash, and it's gonna make this just a little bit more moist. All right, put this away. And then usually I put in, usually it's de novo nutrition protein, but I am all out, so I had to get this one from my pals at 7-Eleven. So we'll have to do. And now we will mix this in, nuke it, and then we will cover it in honey and coconut oil. So usually that doesn't happen. It doesn't separate like this, like the pumpkin and the mix don't like each other today. They not talking. All right. So yeah, I think. So this is one of those things that it basically, I think as is, this is a pretty low-fat meal, but then you refat it with some coconut oil, and I think coconut oil has made a little comeback. I think in the 90s it was the MCT oils were big, and over the last few years, they're big again in bodybuilding, but that's not why I use them. I just absolutely love coconut. And actually I moisturize. All my lotions are actually coconut scent. Love coconut. And it just happens to go really well with this. So the coconut, so there you go. That's there. Eventually we will spread that. It kind of melts on its own anyways. And then let's say about 2 servings of this thing. So roughly, in regards to numbers, what are we looking at here? This meal is probably going to be, with the mix and the protein and all that stuff, we're probably looking at about 30-ish fat, 100-ish grams of carbs, and then about 40-something grams of protein. And yeah, that's how we're going to start the day. So we'll call this 30, at least 100, and at least 40 grams of protein. And in the off season, honestly, I really don't track. I eat basically until I am content, and then also just kind of based on where my recovery is, where that training session what that training session is going to look like today, how full I feel in terms of glycogen I might be holding. So today I actually feel pretty full, so I won't be eating too much prior to my training session or the meals leading up to this evening's training session, because I had some pretty good eating this past weekend. So and I didn't train either, so I should be pretty locked and loaded and ready to go. But yeah, I don't track, just kind of eat based off intuition. You do this long enough, you kind of learn to do that. So that's what the final product looks like. I'm going to clean my mess here and start my Monday. We are on meal 2 at this point. It's been about 5 hours since the last meal. Kind of ran away from me. Time did. So 2 complete cookies, snickerdoodle, and then lemon poppy seed, which I hear a lot of people don't necessarily like, but in regards to like texture, it's usually the one that's most consistent. Sometimes these come out like vanilla wafers. Same protein drink, because I'm out of protein and I don't like chewing food sometimes. And then the Diet Dew. And this was like fresh out the oven, or fresh out the 7-Eleven, which is conveniently like really close to the house. But yeah, this will be meal number 2, and I guess we'll tally up the macros. It's definitely over 100 grams of carbs. Fat is probably at about 20-ish, and then protein is approaching 50. So we're doing quite well for ourselves so far. This might be the pre-workout meal. Kind of depends on how I feel. Or we might sneak in another maybe smaller size meal, because I don't like to eat too much, but I do need something pre-training on most days. Okay, eat this and then back to work, and see you guys for what will most likely be the pre-workout or the post-workout meal in a bit here. Here we go. And this time I will point at it. All right, so the whole thing is not regular Mountain Dew, only from here to here. The rest is diet, and basically this is my intra-workout carb source. What it does for me is that right around the halfway mark, I kind of start to crash a little bit, so this kind of helps me with that. And well, in the off season, about 2/3 of the way, but dieting about halfway for sure. So this just kind of helps me keep going, keeps me hydrated, and it just tastes good. So we double gulp it during a training session. That's been the kick I've been on of late, and from time to time I'll switch it. But right now, this is just super convenient. As it gets colder, I don't know if that'll be the case necessarily. Maybe we'll have hot chocolate or something intra training session. All right, this is going to be dinner, should I not stay up too late. So we're going to have basically the whole thing, because I'm a little hungry, and that's usually how it works. Usually if I'm not training, I have a hard time getting food in, because training just really stimulates my appetite. So this is going to be the main course, and then the starches we have on the side, 2 lovely candied apples. There we go. So that's dinner. I'll show you guys what the final product looks like in a bit. Portion, we'll start off with this. Doesn't look super appetizing, but it's actually okay. And that's some barbecue sauce there. I didn't really do anything to the meat itself because I got to share with my pack. So that's Paul, and that is Haley. She's over here because she's healing up from a hurt paw. So so keeping them separate so they don't, so he doesn't hurt her unintentionally, or her herself jumping off things unintentionally. But I didn't season them so I can share them with my pack, because usually if they're doggy safe things, I share with them because they're my homies. Even this guy right here, right? Okay, so let's get to work, Paul. I need your help. That's a pound of meat. This might be the closing food for the day. He hopes he's getting some. He's not getting none of this. So just two candied apples, and this has definitely been my my go-to meal. Just meat and candied apples. It's almost paleo. Almost paleo. It even has the sticks, but yeah. So I think as of right now, this meal, because the fat in so it's about 40 grams of fat between the steak and this, and about 100 grams of carb, and about 100-ish grams of protein. So this meal, 40, 100, 100. And I guess before, if this is my last meal, after this we'll have some closing comments on basically how everything is structured, and outside of just it being tasty food for the most part, why we do things the way we do. Yeah, I'll leave it there. So I'm going to catch a little bit of this, whatever I can, and might call it a day after this. We will see. So we're done eating for the day, and it's going to be quite obvious from that food belly. So yeah, we're done eating. It was, I'd say, a pretty typical day. So again, if we tally everything up, I think fat's going to be a bit over 100, carbs will be approaching 400, protein a bit over 200. So my intake kind of does this in the off season. It's one of those things where I base my intake on many things, a number of things, but it's not like anything close to when I'm prepping, where I'm a lot more precise. And then also, if I short myself 500 calories when I am dieting, I will feel it. I will definitely feel it. Whereas right now, I'm pretty good at this whole eating intuitively by instinct, and I know what I'm prone to. That for the most part, I do a pretty good job in regulating my weight gain. And at this point, what I'm looking for is about a pound to pound and a half every 6 weeks. That's about right for now, and yeah, for the most part, I nail it, winging it. And I think that's the main, to me. I think you count macronutrients, and you learn to be precise, and you learn to, work with a variety of foods, a wide variety of foods, so that, again, you can basically not have to count macros the rest of your life. That is a goal. So you count macros so you don't count macros the rest of your life. Some will get there sooner than others, but that is the long-term goal, in my opinion. And I definitely go through stints when I'm tracking. Like, for example, when I started this mini cut, I was tracking initially to kind of get the ball rolling, to kind of just get myself reacquainted with what my portions should look like. And for example, I realized almost right away in the first day, I'm like, oh wow, like my breakfast was like 50 grams of fat or something ridiculous. And it slowly just kind of got there. And then once I kind of got the hang of it, I stopped tracking, and in the last part of that last fat loss phase I went through, it was just I winged the whole thing. So again, it's how I do it at this point, but it doesn't mean that it's the right thing for everyone. At least maybe not right now, but long term that should be the goal. So I guess so. I hit that intake, and I would say that. That's probably a deficit today, a small deficit, but it's okay, because again, I'll probably eat more 2-3 days from now, and it all kind of balances out. And unlike like when I'm prepping, we're like literally, as I like to say, you always feel like you're one bagel away from just saving the world.
it's not so much the case right now. So I kind of go by appetite, I go by recovery. A big one, which I think takes a while, is like, honestly, sometimes I'll just like do this. And I'm like, do I feel full, or do I feel flat? And then based off that, I decide how many carbohydrates I need that day. So again, it's something we built up to, but it's how we do it right now. So macros, went over that. In terms of food variety, it changes all the time. So even though I was saying that like the apples have been my kick of late, I'm always kind of switching foods in and out. And so I didn't have any veggies today, but for example on Sunday I had just veggie galore. I probably had like 4 or 5 servings because there were some things in the fridge that I needed to clear out. So again, I think instead of looking things day to day, I think I tend to look at things in like the bigger picture. And generally I do a good job of just kind of balancing things out over the course of, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. But yeah, that's what today looked like. And tomorrow I might eat 300 calories less, might eat 300 calories more. But in general, again, this is what it looks like. Not very exciting. Yeah, just like everyone else, just I masticate. Everyone masticates. I'll leave it there. No, that's it. Yeah, hope you guys got something from that, other than I like candied apples quite a bit. All right.